Nice to see you again. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Thanks for joining me on this trip. It's always nice to have company. You seem tired. Please, make yourself comfortable. Do you want to hear a story? Or would you like me to put on a record for you? Or do you just want to listen to the calming sounds of the road? The choice is yours. But if you're still here, then it must mean that you'd like to hear this story. This story about the newest addition to my family, my grandson, Alan. Clear your mind. Relax. He's 7 years old. He was adopted a few months ago by my daughter Lillian and her husband Bill. They've talked about having children for a while before they actually went through with the adoption. Once the time came, they decided that there were too many kids in the world without parents to bring someone else into this world. So they decided to take a child from a foster home. Now, adopting has its quirks. I, for one, never adopted because I had thought that there was a special connection with having your own child. But they didn't care about that. Lillian explained to me that as long as you can love your child, it is your child, and Alan is their child. They were originally planning to adopt the baby, but at the end of it, they had adopted Alan. That comes with the consequence of never getting to experience raising a baby, which can leave you ill-prepared when raising a child who can walk and talk and think for themselves. It may have been a good thing, though, in part. In my experience, raising a kid gets easier as they grow up. Raising a baby, though, is like parenting boot camp. It toughens you out. It's an experience in itself, and I think I'd really miss if I didn't have it. Other than that, I think adopting is difficult because as kids grow, there are all these intricate details you learn about them. And if you don't have the time to get to know them from their infancy, you can sometimes miss out on those intricate details. It's like you're just thrown into the deep end without the knowledge. There's a lot you need to learn all at once about them. Alan had lived in a foster home for 3 years when they adopted him. His parents had a messy relationship with drugs, and once this started, his parents had a messy relationship with drugs, and it was clear that this was having an effect on him. He was taken out of their custody and placed in foster care for his own safety. He was 4 then. I can't imagine how much trouble that transition must have been for him, but he also had it really rough with the transition moving in with Bill and Lillian. The two of them were really excited about having a new son. They thought he would be much happier in his new home than in his current situation at the foster care home. Alan had previously shared 2 foster parents with 7 children, but when Alan arrived, he actually had a lot of trouble acclimating to his new environment. They said he was often irritated and rude. While they thought he would be excited to have all the things he didn't have in the foster home, he didn't show any gratitude. He complained a lot. Lillian told me that she felt naive for thinking he would easily feel at home with them, that obviously, for him, this was a strange new place, and it would make sense that he would feel totally uncomfortable. They tried to accommodate, but his complaints were always so hard to solve. He didn't like the food they would eat. They said that he was very picky. Lillian was always a great cook. She had always loved to cook fresh dinners. But Alan, well, it seemed like he preferred the cheap frozen foods that he was used to having back at the foster care home. He liked chicken nuggets and pre-cooked mac and cheese. In response, Bill and Lillian reluctantly started cooking more freezer food. He also didn't like spending time with them, and usually he just wanted to be left alone. He didn't want to go to any outings. He didn't even want to watch TV with them. He seemed remarkably antisocial for a kid who grew up with 7 siblings. But Bill and Lillian soon saw that Alan's frustration was turning to sadness. They would find him crying in his bed at night, usually wanting to be left alone. Finally, they had had enough and urged him to tell them what was wrong, and at this point, he had finally began to open up. He told them that he missed his friends at the foster care home, another boy of the same age named Christopher. Christopher was the first friend he had ever had. They had almost grown up together, like brothers. They were inseparable at the foster care home, and he was devastated when he was taken away from Christopher. And because of this, Alan could never cheer up while living with them. He stagnated at school. Alan was stagnated at school, both socially and academically. His grades were bad, and his teachers warned Bill and Lillian that if he continued to get worse, he might have to repeat the 2nd grade. He was also struggling to make friends, if struggling is even the right word to use. He seemed not even to be trying. Bill and Lillian knew he was upset, but it was getting to the point where they were concerned about his health, wondering if he would continue to be stagnant. They even worried about his poor development, and if that might have been a result of his mother abusing drugs during her pregnancy. It was slow, but eventually Alan improved. He still wasn't a very happy kid though, but his attitude started to get better. He finally stopped eating just frozen pizza foods. He finally started trying new foods and ate less and less that pre-made mac and cheese and chicken nuggets. He started opening up to his parents a little bit more, and he even figured out some of the perks of being an only child. He got to enjoy the individual attention he got from his parents, and usually when he watched TV with them, he would get to decide what to watch, which is something I didn't get to do as a kid. He said he never got to do that before. A couple of weeks ago, actually, there was a new student in his class, and can you guess who it was? It was Christopher, his friend from the foster care home. I had wished I had been there to see the two of them reunite. His folks told me that both of them were overjoyed to be back together. Christopher had been adopted by another family in the neighborhood. And in talking to this family, we discovered that Christopher was having similar troubles adjusting to his environment. Alan, who at this point was now a pro at adjusting to his environment, helped Christopher get used to his new family. The two of them are back to being best friends. They're pretty exclusive though, but Lillian says that they've become more and more social with the other kids every day. Alan has even started doing better in school. At dinner now, they alternate between Alan's old comfort food and some more healthier homemade dishes. Alan really likes his mother's homemade mac and cheese. I always said Lillian was a great cook. I visited them recently, and it's too early to tell for sure, but it seems like Alan's really on the right track. It seems like all Alan needed, all anyone ever needs, is a friend. And I'm glad he was able to be reunited with his.